All right, so the main purpose of this video is just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm expecting you to be doing on this activity here. So if you're in class, we probably would have talked through this, but if you missed class for whatever reason, or if I'm not there to give explicit instructions for what I'm looking for, hopefully this video kind of offers a little bit of clarification on what you should be doing today. So we're starting a brand new unit. And we're going to start getting into these things called trig ratios. Trig is short for trigonometry, which is something that kind of shows up in geometry, but it's also using some algebra too in order to solve for things that might be missing. So you all should have a new packet, okay? And on the very first page, there's kind of these charts that look like this. And there's a GeoGebra link that I've provided for you guys on the calendar in Schoology that you can access. If you're also watching this close enough to the time that we did this in class, there's probably a direct link on the Schoology page at the very top that you can use as well if you don't want to go to the calendar. But there's a link that I'm going to show you guys how I want you to use it. But down below, you're going to be filling in information for these boxes here and over here. And then on the back side of this page, you're going to do the same thing for this box and for this box, okay? Now, both set of charts have the first box where they're specifying what angle measurement they want you to use. Over here, they don't have an angle filled in. That's going to be for you to kind of choose what measurement you would want to use for your angle, okay? So on the Schoology page, if you guys go to our class, or if this is not here right now, then you could come down here to the calendar, and there's going to be a link in here that you can click on, and that'll get you to the same GeoGebra link that we're using for today. But so whichever way you get there, you're supposed to get to this window here. I'm going to just open it up in a brand new page, and it should look like this. Okay, you're going to have kind of a window down here. I'm going to just try to move this around, make it a little bit bigger. And there's going to be a slider here that you're going to be working with. So on my page, on my notes, this first one wanted me to have an angle of 35 degrees. So over here on this website, I need to move this slider so that it's down to 35. Okay. So you can see when I did that, it kind of changed the measurements that I saw on my triangle. Now on your triangle, there's going to be some numbers here. And you could try to make the numbers nicer if you want. You can grab any of the 3 points, A, B, or C, and you can kind of make the triangle get bigger or smaller. You can just kind of drag that point around if you'd like to. So you can just move this around, or you could do that with A as well. You can kind of just grab any of those and just kind of get it facing whatever direction you want. And you can try to make those numbers look a little bit nicer if you would like to. It's going to be really hard though. Okay, it's going to be hard to get like all three to be whole numbers. So I don't know if it's really worth your guys' time to spend too much time doing that. Okay, what I'm going to do is just kind of put this back to maybe where it was originally. It's not perfect, but it's all right. So I'm going to just leave it right there. And then what you're going to do is on this page, they're going to ask you to fill in some numbers here. And all you have to do is write them down from the website. Okay, so this one is abbreviated OPP dot. That means opposite side. What do you guys think HYP would stand for? It'd stand for the hypotenuse because we're dealing with right triangles still. So if you see OPP, that means opposite. HYP means hypotenuse. And when you guys are on the back side here, you're going to see ADJ. That means adjacent. Okay, those are some important words that we're going to be seeing show up a lot in this trigonometry unit that we're doing. So just to kind of give you some clarification, because you're going to hear me say opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse a lot here. So what you're going to do is using that website, you're going to fill in the numbers that you had on your triangle for these specific sides. So like this one is saying opposite side BC. So here on the website, you're going to go to BC and you're going to write this number down, 1.46. That's just going to go right in there, or whatever your number says, okay? Because yours is going to be different than mine. Then you're going to write down the hypotenuse, AC. So that would be this side length. So I would put 2.55 in my chart. Then what you're going to do is you're going to change the size of your triangle. So you're going to want to move A or B. You're going to want to make it bigger or smaller, okay? And get some new numbers, and you're going to want to fill in those same two numbers in the chart. So you're still going to go and do that. You're going to do it a total of 3 times. So you're going to have 3 different numbers here, 3 different numbers here, because you're going to change the size of your triangle. Okay. Then what you're going to do for this last one is you're going to actually calculate it. So you're going to want to use a calculator, and you're going to take the AC and the BC. You're going to take the BC numbers, that first column of numbers, and you're going to divide it by the AC numbers. Okay. That second column. And you're going to write out what is the decimal you get when you divide. So you're going to do that 3 total times. Okay. Then over here, you're going to do the exact same thing, except you're going to change your angle. So coming back to the website, you can choose whatever angle you'd like. You could make it, you got to still have a triangle here, so you can't obviously go 90 or bigger, because now you're not dealing with a triangle anymore. But you could do 85. You could do something really small like 10. You can do really whatever you'd like. Okay, so you have some freedom with that. Then on the back side, you're going to do the same thing, except you're just looking at a different part of your triangle. You're setting up a new ratio here, and you're dividing those out. Okay, and then again, you're going to set your own angle, whatever you want it to be, and you're going to do that same process 3 times. The goal of the charts is that you should hopefully, when you're all set and done, see something happen. Okay, there should be something happening that's kind of describing this relationship that's going to be between these specific sides, the opposite, the hypotenuse, and the adjacent. Okay. Now, I would start by just filling out your charts first, and then if you have some time, I want you to try to answer the rest of the questions on this worksheet. Now, you may not get through all of them. You may not know how to answer all of them, okay? And that's okay. Today is just a day to kind of explore these things and try to see if you can start to see some of these relationships that we're going to spend a lot of time talking about in Trig. So I would suggest that you fill those charts out first, and then come and see what you can do with these questions, and same on the back. Fill out the charts and then see what you can do with these questions down here, okay? You may not have answers for everything. You may not have the right answers for everything, and that's okay. Just try to do what you can with it and see what you can notice, all right? Now, when you finish this activity, you might need to, like if you're not in class today, you might need to go and check the next day with a classmate kind of what they discussed, or at the end of class be able to kind of look at someone else's work, or even come in and talk to me, and we can kind of go over maybe some of the highlights that we talked about in the lesson for today.